Can you kind of maybe shed some light into why you think there's all of a sudden an increase in kids, particularly who are wanting to go through a gender transition? Do
Yeah, well,
you?
your experience, I think, is a very common one. I share that experience, and so do many people. So, I've heard numerous stories from people that I know saying, my granddaughter is now wanting to transition into a boy, and so on and so forth. Or, my friend has a child in their class who, so it's really all around us, and statistically, we know that just by looking at the media and the statistics, that there's been, in some cases, I think in the UK, a 4,000% increase in this sort of thing happening on previous years. So there has been an explosion. There's no disputing that. Why that's happening, there have been people there have been experts who've addressed this question. And one that comes to mind that I'm aware of is a American. She's a physician, I think, and a public health expert. Her name is Lisa Littman. She has looked specifically into this question of why, among adolescents, and I think particularly adolescent girls, why there is this phenomenon of so many of them suddenly declaring and deciding that they're boys. And she's done some research into it. It got her fired from her job ultimately, but so she calls it a social contagion, and that's a word that is now being, I guess, quite widely used. It's a contagion. It's a something that, so it's a social phenomenon. It's a peer group pressure type thing, like getting tattoos and experimenting with drugs and all those other things, which are sort of peer group influence. When you have others in your peer group doing something, there's that tendency, I suppose, and it seems to be more so in females, to sort of copycat that behaviour. And then when you have someone famous like Ellen Page, who's now called herself Elliot Page, when someone famous like that does it, it becomes even more trendy. And so it's a sociological phenomenon. I guess the question from a medical perspective is, do we go along with it or not?